Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
Hello! We are back with another question and answer video. This one comes to you from almost fall. In fact, by the time it's up, it might be actual fall in the Northern Hemisphere anyway.
Yeah, it's very close to being true fall season. We've just had a fall day anyway. You know, sometimes the end of summer up here can resemble fall. We've had summer right up until today. Today, tried to go out for a walk at lunchtime with just my regular work shirt on, and it was just chilly. And I was outside for 20 minutes doing that walk, and no, took the short way back to work, got back inside. Half an hour later, all warmed up, all done. Then it started to rain for the afternoon.
And yet yesterday we were floating down the river.
Yeah.
In sunshine, and it was beautiful.
3.5 hours floating on a raft down the river. It was a great time.
Yep. But now it's fall.
Yeah, now it's fall.
The end of summer.
Blink, done.
Yes.
That's how it works around here.
Yes, which is why we have leaves up here. This is what these are supposed to be. Our fall leaves.
Yeah, as long as they don't fall on us while we're here.
Haha.
Just a quick comment before we get going. I was thinking about this as I was getting ready for this video. It almost always happens that a day that I'm really tired gets to be video day.
That's because you don't have the energy or motivation for anything else, so you're ready to just sit down.
Well, and also when I'm tired, it means I'm less in my head and more just in my being. I could say more in my spirit. It just works out that way, and I don't think that it's really a whole lot different for Angie either.
No.
It's just right when we've just run ourselves down to the point that we have no other energy left except just enough to do a video was about the time that we do a video. I'm not saying that we wait till we're exhausted to do videos. It just turns out that way.
Yeah.
But it's also a great time to do a video because there's just no thought left. It's just all feeling.
That's true. So before we start with questions, as promised, we always now start our videos with a little story or anecdote. If you're new to us, first of all, welcome. And if you're new to us, you might not know this, but somebody a while ago had asked, could you share little video clips of like your daily life? And it's kind of hard to do that because we're just busy living our daily life. So what we do is we tell a little story of either fun things we do. Mostly they've been crazy, weird, strange things we do. And I was going to tell a sweet thing tonight, but I thought we should share tonight's supper instead. You can share the funny side, and I'll share the sweet side of it if you want.
Well,
we didn't discuss this beforehand.
We didn't, so she's caught me totally off guard.
But it was funny, so I thought it was amusing to share.
We were almost laughing to tears.
No, I was laughing to tears, and I was trying not to choke on my carrot.
She was munching away on her carrot. Of course, for whatever reason, she starts with the small end of the carrot first, works her way to the big end, and it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. And of course, as it gets to the bigger end of the carrot, as she's munching away on it, her jaw is getting more tired. So it just gets to be harder and harder and harder to eat more carrot. And she was lamenting that this last 1.5 inches of carrot was just, it's just so hard. Maybe I'm not going to eat the carrot. And of course, I went and got off on the tangent of needing to do jaw exercises while she's trying to munch on this oversized last bite of carrot that she had. So I'm starting to reach over to try to wiggle her jaw, and all I'm doing is turning her head, and I said, no, unclench your teeth. Of course, she's still got a mouthful of carrots, so this starts to get carried away, and we started laughing, and she was using hand signals to tell me that I better stop or else I'm going to be wearing carrot, because it was going to be almost spew time. And then she insinuated, okay, I bought this bright orange, like fluorescent jacket the other night.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't wear it. I thought you were.
And it just happened to be on the back of my supper table chair. So she was saying that maybe I should put on my orange jacket to protect me from the orange carrot. So it just kept on going like this, and pretty soon Angie was nearly in tears, and I could feel the tears welling up for myself. And I figured I'd better stop bugging her and let her finish her bite of carrot.
Without choking on it or spewing it on Rob, because I was laughing so hard I was literally crying. It was so funny.
We never did get any jaw exercises done.
No.
There was no unclench.
No. So that's the funny story. Now the sweet story that I was going to tell before the carrot thing even happened is almost every night when we eat supper, first of all, we eat very different food because Rob has a stomach of steel and can eat anything and everything, and I do not, so I have to eat very different food from him. And my food is rarely nearly as tasty as his. It's just not as good at all. So almost always I get a bite of Rob's food before he even gets a bite of it, which is just such a nice, sweet thing.
Yeah, usually I will do that.
Yes,
I'll
you
have my
do.
food, and then I'll give her a corner of my food, and then once she's had a corner of something yummy, then I dive into it face first, and it's gone just a few minutes later. Because I've done that a couple of times where I've just started into my food, and then I get all done, and then I go, oh no, I forgot to share a quarter of my food with Angie. So I tend to feed her first. It's totally the opposite of what you're supposed to do on an airplane. You know, you get on an airplane and they say, an emergency happens and the oxygen mask falls down from the roof. They always say, put on your own mask first before helping others. I completely get that backwards. I'm sure I would put on everybody else's mask and pass out and be wiped out.
So yeah, I almost always get a bite of his food before he does. Even in a restaurant, it's very, very nice. He's got this like yummy something or other, and I get a taste of it before he gets to try it. And then I get to eat my salad. Yay!
She's right. I had no idea what we were going to talk about. In fact, she was even saying, we normally tell a little bit about something that we do, and we can't really catch it on video because we're just busy leading our lives. I'm going, oh yeah, we have to do one of those. And we didn't talk about this. I totally had to go in blind faith that she had something in mind.
Well, I already was going to talk about something else, which is the same thing I was going to talk about last video. I guess it's just not its time. It'll be its time someday.
That's a me statement, by the way.
It's not its time.
It's just not its time.
Yeah.
I usually when I've got something I need to clean up, but I'm busy doing something else, and I get reminded that something needs to be cleaned up, I usually pull that line out. Oh, it's just not quite its time yet. Yeah. Okay.
So on the note of questions, I forgot to print out our questions, so we're reading them off of another computer. So we're recording on a computer and reading off of another computer. Thank God for a work computer. We have two. All right, so first question is, what is the relationship between See, this is why I don't normally read the questions.
Normally. Okay.
Normally. Oh dear, it's going to be bad if
computer's
I
on her side. I'll read the second question. It's short.
Oh yeah, sure. You get the easy one. This one's only like 2 lines and I'm already struggling.
Let's start over.
What is the relationship between career and the TF journey? I've been seeking employment and nothing seems to be working out for me. I feel as though God is holding me back from achieving success. Any thoughts? I can completely relate. If you have watched our journey, our story videos, you know, and if you don't, I will tell you quickly, I struggled greatly. I had graduated as a registered nurse from university, met Rob, and then my whole life exploded, and despite being a brand new grad, I could not find work. I even tried to work in like anything I could, and couldn't get a job and ended up going homeless. That's the very short story of it all. Lost almost all of my stuff. It is common on this journey. I've had so many people, the videos that we shared when we were doing our stories, and you know, when I was sharing about going homeless, so many people have commented that they're in that same situation or they've been in that situation. Now, the reason why it's so common is because oftentimes, in order to truly find our soul and find our connection to our soul self, we have to lose everything else. So you might be struggling to get a job. You might go homeless. Not that I'm trying to scare anybody. Maybe your journey won't go that far. But oftentimes we have to lose everything external, including friends, family, stuff, homes, you name it, so that we can realize that we are none of those things. We are able to survive without any of that because we are an eternal spiritual being. And that was the lesson for me. And it's the lesson for a lot of us, is to learn to turn inwards, get our guidance within, get our nourishment from in, get everything from inside our own being rather than outside of us. So, yes, if nothing's working for you, all I can say is keep trying as much as you can, but also go with your guidance. If you're being told that's not your path, then honor that, because all you're going to do is struggle and struggle when you don't need to. You know, if you're being told this job's not where you're supposed to be right now, you can try all you want, and it's not going to happen. So just as much as you can, connect within and find your own guidance from that place rather than trying to look outwards. That's my long answer. You probably have a nice short answer because you're you.
Yeah, I probably have a nice longer answer because I'm me.
You're right. What am I saying? You're the long-winded one.
I have a completely different take on this. I think of the people who have their careers all buttoned in, dialed in, and the career is going easy. So the career is going easy. They meet someone who they figure could be their partner, so they also choose the easy relationship, and then they have the requisite one boy, one girl, one dog, one cat, two cars, one house, slightly bigger than the Joneses, and they choose the standard path of life, and then they realize how how kind of boring and set and regimented that all is, and then they start their struggles. For the people who are struggling with their career right off the bat, they meet someone, their career isn't going great, they have to get past that judgment from the other person, like, oh, how's your career going? Well, I'm sort of halfway between two careers that I haven't chosen either one of them, and neither one of them's giving me a good opportunity, so I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. When you meet someone who says something like that and is stuck, struggling with a career, then it tends to be the true, deep, honest love that shows through. Those relationships tend to find a deeper love because the person can see past that if they want to get into the relationship. That, I believe, is my take on it. The more struggles that you have, the deeper, the stronger, the more genuine the love would be if it comes during those times, because those times will see through the struggles and then pick up and continue on from there.
That's a good point.
So that's usually why both of you are struggling when you're trying to get into union, is so that you almost have the struggles, but then you also have the commonality that would also help even draw you both together, because you're also seeing through the struggles and helping the other person and having some empathy for the other person at the same time. So it's not a disbalanced relationship.
All right.
Which really makes the next question sort of the anti question to what we've just been talking about, but it is a different point of view. Shall I read the next question?
Yes.
The question is, there is a huge difference between me and my TF regarding money. He is rich, I am common. Is it a problem for union? You want to answer first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Whether it's money that people struggle with, or age differences, or sexuality, or race,
Religion.
Religion.
Distance.
Absolutely. We did a video on this in our when we were doing our 11 series, and I'll link it above. Let me look at the time so I can kind of remember. It's very common for twin flames to have at least one of those types of struggles or inconsistencies or uncommonalities, because again, the journey challenges us to look past that and remember that we are one soul, we are connected on a deep level. So to let go of what the external shows, what the 3D shows, you know, a lot of people have huge age differences or race differences or culture differences. And society says, well, no, you can't be together because of this reason or that reason. And so it's for the love to shine through. It's when you have true love that helps you bond and accept that the external means nothing. So if one has more money and one has less, it doesn't mean one is worth more and one is worth less just because of money. It's for learning to see past all of that.
My turn for the short answer. The greater, just staying with the question regarding money, the more three-dimensional the relationship's being looked at. For the 4D and 5D relationships, the struggles become less important, and that's where it links back to the last question. So is it a problem for union? I'm going to say, and this is only a likelihood, it's not really set in stone, but it's only a likelihood that it's a problem for the union if one or the other is looking at it from a very three-dimensional point of view.
Yeah. And it's only a problem if you make it a problem. If you're going to see yourself as unworthy because this person has more money than you, or not good enough, or whatever, then yes, it's going to be a problem. But it doesn't have to be a problem. And in fact, it's a stumbling block that your soul has chose to come into this lifetime with to work through so that you can prove that it means nothing. It's about the connection. It's not about money or anything else. So it doesn't have to be a problem if you choose it not to be a problem, and if you can see past it.
Just looking at 6 words in the question. He is rich, I am common. He is rich in what? In soulfulness, in spirituality, in money, in land. Yeah. Many different definitions of rich. Money's only one of them.
That's right. Next question. I'll try to read this one without stumbling too much. This is why Rob normally reads the questions, but I'm trying to navigate the computer, so we'll see how it goes.
See? Struggles.
That's just the way it is.
And I have all the patience and empathy in the world for poor Angie because sometimes I'm reading a question and I'm trying to build it along the way because it just didn't come out grammatically anywhere near what could be read, and I stumble through it, and I just hope everybody doesn't beat up on me for doing so. And now it's Angie's turn.
It's my turn, yep.
And you can have all the mistakes you want.
Okay, thanks. All right, this person says, I have a unique situation. My twin is married and loves his wife and me both, and is at peace in his relationship and has no plans on leaving her, nor have I asked him to. They also have given each other permission to be with others, poly, not in a promiscuous way. So she knows about me and has consented for us to be intimate. He asked me to be with him physically, and although we have shared affection, we have not gone all the way. I am 52, never been married, and with no kids. This is his second marriage, and he has no kids with her. I feel torn because I would rather not be a side person, but he is my twin. I'm sure we can all understand that kind of feeling. We have been friends for over 15 years and have grown to love each other romantically over the past 5 years. I would love to hear your perspective. Thank you. I want to hear your perspective first on this one, if you're willing to.
I've often thought that it's very possible to love more than one person at a time, romantically, physically. I believe it's. I could hardly imagine that that love can only be with one when we are supposed to love everybody. But at the same time, the complications that come from having skin, from being on this planet, the complications that come with having more than one romantic partner on the go at the same time, even when it's supposed to be okay, the the level of trust that it is okay or that it even should be okay, it just creates so many complications that it seldom is okay. And when something goes wrong in this style of a relationship, oftentimes there's a hard and fast line that's put in place where something that was allowed before is not allowed because something went wrong. So it's a really big gamble. It's a really big risk of being in a situation where yourself and your twin are absolutely forbidden on a 3D level to ever be in touch again. I think that if you've got one of the many levels, one of the birds in the hand of at least being able to be in touch with your twin, don't jeopardize that by taking advantage of every possible situation that comes along. If you've got a friendship and the friendship is non threatening in its existence, I would say don't put it into a situation where it could be threatened with complete elimination. Unless, of course, there's a way to take it completely to the very end. And, of course, if this person's in a relationship, married, and has no plans on going anywhere, I'd say leave the relationship at the level it's at. Wait for a different time when maybe this person is no longer married. Then let it step up.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a tough
And
question.
I don't have any specific recommendations. I have two perspectives. I have the perspective, like Rob shared in the beginning, the fact that we are all connected. And yes, you can love more than one person. So for your twin to be married and also want to be with you, I can completely understand that. Because it's just like a parent with a child. You have one child, and then you think, how will I ever love another child as much as I love this one? Well, when you have another child, you don't love them any less. You love them just as much as the first one.
Just differently.
Right. Because it's now a different experience. Um, so it's the same with a romantic relationship. You don't just necessarily love one person. And why in our human society do we think love should be only limited to one person? I mean, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with what did she call this?
Polly.
Yeah. I know it's not for me, but that's for my own reasons. I have no judgment if it is for other people. In fact, I say good on them, because what it shows me when somebody is okay with that kind of a connection is they have moved past the ego. Because it's the ego that wants to say, well, this person should love me and me only. Like, don't they see I'm the best thing? Like, I'm better than this other person? So then it puts us in, judgment of other people and getting into hierarchy of, well, I'm better and I should be loved more and less. And, when really we're all equal. We're different, but we're all equal. So there's both sides of it. It's just what side are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with knowing that you can be with your twin and then knowing that they're going to be with somebody else as well? That you are not going to have all of them, at least not at this point in their life. That you may share intimate moments and then they're going to share intimate moments with someone else. Now, some people might completely disagree with this because of energetic situations. because, as we know, when you're intimate with somebody, you share a lot of intense energy with them. And if you're sharing energy with him and then he's sharing energy with another woman, energetically that can get complicated. But again, who's to say that's wrong? Who's to say that's bad? You may have, the three of you may have come into this lifetime with this sort of soul agreement of this is the experience you're going to have for whatever reason. So it's for nobody but you to know if this is right, if this feels right. And if it doesn't, then that's okay.
It's for whatever reason, even if it's to discover that maybe it isn't the best thing to be doing. That could be the reason too. Maybe it's because, like Angie was alluding to, maybe you've developed far enough that it's for a wonderful discovery. Boy, that's not something that I feel I can advise on, because that's really directly the questioner's journey.
Yeah.
And also, I've shared this opinion before, and I guess I'll call it part of my own journey. I feel that every person that I have loved, there's a bit of a word twist, still has a tiny corner of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have 1% of my heart, some people still have 2%. And let's just say I've been in love a half a dozen different times before, and that 90% of my heart is free, 10% of my heart is still honoring my past by not killing off and denying that love ever existed, but is the way that I like to word it. I've had people say, well, does that not mean that you don't have 100% of your heart available? And I say, no, that means that I have 100% of the 90% remaining of my heart available.
That's a word twist. That's a lawyer kind of comment.
Exit stage left, Rob. I'm out of here now. In trouble. So, can you love more than one person? Yes. Can you love more than one person at the same time? I believe yes. I certainly do. I don't think I'd want to get explicit about it, but I believe I have been in love with two different people at the same time. It's just horribly risky in the realm that we live in. If we were in the fifth dimension, it would be super easy to do.
Yeah.
But then there also wouldn't be the physical aspect because you'd be in the fifth dimension.
Even if we were just a more advanced society where people had less ego and less insecurities and less drama and all of the things that make us human, which is why we're here, though. We're here for the human experience.
A little more 4D at a minimum.
Yeah.
Then it would be less complicated.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a tough one that only you can decide. And I know, part of the comment was, I would rather not be a side person. And I get that too. I think that's where, maybe some serious, honest and open discussion with your twin, because they're open to this and, they have clear communication with their spouse. If you were to have clear communication with the twin and express that, I'd rather not be a side person. And see what they say. Maybe they'd say, you're not at all a side person. I just love two different people, and I have enough love in me to share with two different people. Maybe they'd say that. Maybe they wouldn't. Who knows?
And just because, that was a little bit of a we have something that's called the of disapproval. When something doesn't go right, it's like, and I go, uh-oh, what didn't go right? What did I say? Or what didn't work when you were trying to cook your supper tonight? Many different things are humps of different disapproval, but I have a humph of disapproval on what I want to say. So, as much as I disapprove in this, the feeling like a side person, it's very possible that the side person is actually the better love. The marriage is looking after, quote unquote, the wives, the kids, the family, the usual expectations in society. So just because you're not the married one doesn't automatically designate you to be the side person. You still may be the stronger, deeper love. You just might not be the person who happens to be the one with the kids, the one with the house, and the, here I go again, the dog, the cat, etc., etc.
And maybe for this person, there's the married person fulfills the 3D role and you fulfill the 5D role for this person. Maybe right now they're not able to blend those two pieces of connection with one person. Maybe it's part of their growth, maybe it's part of your growth. So again, not that we're advising you one way or the other, just giving different perspectives, thoughts. So yeah, good luck with that. It would be interesting to hear from you again down the road, to know how it's going, how it went, what you decided. Yeah, fascinating journey. And that's the thing about this twin flame journey. It's not at all one size fits all. It's all sorts of different experiences and dynamics.
This is one of these questions where if you pick it apart word by word, it could be a whole video all by itself.
Oh, totally. So many of these questions could be. In fact, this next one, I'd like to make it a whole video by itself someday. We should do this topic, because this is, I think, the third or fourth time we've answered this question in different ways, because people are still needing more clarity. So we'll answer it here for now, and maybe someday when we have the energy and the time, we'll do a separate video.
Let's read it first and see where we go.
Yes.
Of course, because it's not on paper. Doesn't matter if it is on paper, I still haven't read it first.
So this person says, I'm a bit confused about getting excited or highly energized around each other. Does this mean one can't get excited around their twin? Because every time you do, the other runs. How do you live like this? Rob and Angie, don't you two ever lose balance or uncentered around each other? Do you both get uncomfortable and run from each other even now? So again, to clarify, we're not at all saying you can't get excited around your twin. This has been a topic for when you're not in union, you're not together. A lot of people don't understand that it's about managing your energy. It's about being centered in your own energy, because if you haven't heard from your twin for a while and all of a sudden they text you or they message you or they phone you or whatever, you just like dive in head first with every ounce of your energy. And often what it does is it overwhelms the other person, and then like they've just finally braved themselves coming forward again, and then they get this bombardment and like slam of energy, and then they pull away going, okay, never mind. So it's not about getting excited or not getting excited. It's just about managing your energy and being centered in your energy. You can be centered and excited. That's fine. But it's about not throwing every ounce of yourself at this person energetically, because then on an energy level, it just overwhelms them, overstimulates them. Do you have anything to add to that before I go to the next piece?
Go to the next piece, yes,
okay.
Yes. I'm liking this balanced and uncentered bit.
Yeah. So do we ever lose balance or uncentered around each other? Yes.
Yes.
I wrote an example here, and I don't know if it really, though, ties into what we're saying in this experience, though. But I didn't even ask if it was okay to share this.
No, go ahead. No, this is another one of these video moments. Not every video moment is something quirky and weird and would make people laugh.
No.
Sometimes a video moment is when things require effort.
Yes.
To keep it put together. Some days when I'm being all puppy doggly and Angie is not ready for puppy dog energy, or vice versa, something else. Angie's got a lot on her mind and she wants to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G done. And she's asking a question, and before I have a chance to answer a question, she's asking another question. And I'm like, wait a minute.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, that was yesterday. And I had to go, whoa. It was a role reversal.
Totally.
Normally I'm overwhelming her and she's going, can I just have some space? And I am, I'm trying to make breakfast and she's bouncing around all over the place. It was a complete role reversal. I had to like grab her by the shoulders and say, "Stop. I'm getting overwhelmed. Would you just take it easy for a bit? You're just driving me bananas here." It was like, okay, I'll wear the pink shirt that day. Like, I don't know where that came from, but I certainly all of a sudden got a dose of it.
So this is another example that I had. Funny enough, they both relate in a similar way. We were driving to another city. We live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we were driving 3 hours to another city called Edmonton to go meet with some friends to go to a concert. This was just a few months ago. And I was feeling all nervous because I was the one that booked the hotel for these people, and we weren't sure. Like, it's awkward when you're booking a hotel for the people because you don't know if other people have the same standards as you. Are they okay with what you booked? So I was calling all like freaking out about that, and I was also the one planning how we were going to get to the. I was planning everything: our meal, where we're getting our bus tickets to get to the concert. So I was feeling super scared that what if all these plans don't come together? Like, I've done so much work, and what if they're not happy? What if it doesn't come together? Oh my God! And in the meantime, Rob was nervous about meeting this person's husband.
Because, the two girls get together all the time, but us guys, it was going to be our first time meeting in a long time. And the first time we met was his wedding. He was busy. I was like, "Oh, hi. Yeah, I don't even know who you are. Yeah, you know her? Okay, great. Fine. Next." Yeah, that was our first meeting. So this time around was going to be a real first meeting. And I was a little bit nervous about that. I had faith everything would all work out because, in the grand scheme of things, one of my favorite mantras is things are only ever half as bad as they seem, except in the twin flame world, but that's another story.
So we were both uncentered and out of balance because both of us were feeling insecure about this situation. Rob was feeling insecure about meeting this other person, and I was feeling insecure about all the plans and having them work out when there's other people involved. If it's just Rob and I, who cares? Plans don't work out. We're used to juggling and moving and changing and shifting, whatever. But when there's other people, it's not always that easy. So we were both feeling so insecure that our energies, well, as we were driving, we were annoying each other. We're both of us just so irritated with each other.
I was like, "Calm down, it'll all work out. People will just be happy things are done." And on the other side of the vehicle, it was just crickets, dead silence, and I realized, nope, nothing I'm saying is going anywhere.
When I'm stressed, I get quiet. When he's stressed,
crickets.
He gets quiet. Talkative, and he's extra chatty and like every little thing. Oh, look, there's a blade of grass outside. Yeah, there's a bazillion great blades of grass. Do we need to talk about every one of them? So he's blah, 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 and I'm like, shut up. I'm trying to center myself within, and you're not helping. So I was finally like, what is going on with you? And so he tells me his stuff. He told me his stuff, and then I told him mine. And then we were able to like manage our energies because we could manage our own energies instead of trying to deal with the other person while we were dealing with our own. So yes, to answer the question, of course we get unbalanced and uncentered sometimes, but we'll call each other out and go, "What's going on with you?" Or, "This is what's going on with me, and this is what I need. Now, I don't understand what's going on with you. Can you share what's going on with you?" And then the other person shares, "Oh, now I understand." And then we can both calm down and let each other have our own energies and not be bombarding our energies. So again, the journey is so much about the unseen, the 5D, the energy. And when you understand your energy, you can then manage better how your energy flows towards your twin. It's learning how to know yourself and stay centered. And even when you're not centered, know that you're not centered. Be aware that you're not in a good place. And then also be able to express that. So your twin can go, "Oh, that's why you're acting that way. Okay, I thought it was about me. I thought it was something I did." Rarely it's not about the other person. It's our own crap that we're trying to deal with.
Angie's a lot better at recognizing when she's not centered than I am. Sometimes I go a little overboard on social. I talk too much. I get all talkative. Every blade of grass matters. And then she asks, "What is wrong with you?" And meanwhile, I'm I'm out there trying to, without even thinking about it, recenter myself by talking about everything or noticing everything. Oh, yeah, there's a plane, there's a bird, there's a train over there. There's no stripes on this section road because they're paving it. I'm just noticing everything, but in my own way, I'm attempting to center myself by reaching out to grab familiar things and whatnot. And then Angie will ask, "What's wrong with me?" And I'm thinking, nothing. I'm just enjoying everything that I'm talking about, except then when she asks a question, I realize, yeah, I am kind of focused on just about everything, which means I'm focused on nothing, which means everything I'm doing is kind of a little empty. Maybe she does have a point. So the calling each other out, I like that term. Usually that's taken in negativity, but this is actually a very positive thing when we do this. It's when we call each other out, it's not a
It's not
you
in
did this.
judgment.
It's not a you do this or you've done that or whatever. It's a request for understanding.
Absolutely.
And now that we've come to understand that, a calling out moment is is very respected between us.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And that's the only place I'd like to interject. I don't think I say what's wrong with you. I say what's going on with you.
Okay.
What's wrong with you? No, I don't do it that way.
Yeah,
I might say it irritatedly, but I'll be like, what's going on with you? Why are you talking so much?
when I come home from work and I'm really buzzy, she says, "What's wrong with me?" And then I say, "Oh, somebody fed me coffee today at work."
Then it's a totally different conversation.
Then there's something wrong with me because
Yeah.
when I'm on coffee, something's wrong.
Somebody needs you to throw something, except she didn't bring it to you. No, don't. You just threw my shoe for the dog. Thanks.
Oh, well, it falls under the category of something.
So again, to go back to the question, it's not about not getting excited, not sharing your true feelings with your twin. It's about managing your energy so that you're coming from a place of centeredness, not a place of insecurity or jealousy or fear or overwhelm with, oh my God, they've contacted me, now I got to share everything because I haven't talked to them in 7 months and now I got to share 7 months of like knowledge and energy and experience. That's when you want to just stop for a second. Take a deep breath. Find your center, find that place of calm, and then share. You can still be excited, but your energy is not, it's centered. I hope that clarifies a little more. And if not, ask more questions, and maybe we'll just do a video on this topic alone, because we get a lot of questions on this. Next question. What does it mean when you see a recent photo of your twin and your first reaction is, I don't know you? Who is this guy? Instead of tears of joy and connection. It's like you could have been anyone else in the photo. It made me sad. My TF and I have no 3D communication. I will go first on this if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm still feeling my way through the question.
I didn't have this experience with a picture, but I've had this experience actually meeting Rob. I think we've probably shared this story before. We had finally like given up and accepted we were just not meant to be together. He was already in another relationship. I moved on with my life. I had now just gotten married to somebody else and was meeting with all of my friends in town to say goodbye because I was moving to another province, which if you live in the US, a province is like a state. So I was moving out of town and had met with Rob, and it just was so awkward. I remember looking at him thinking, how did I ever date you? How did I ever think you were the one I was going to be with for the rest of my life? Like, he was just weird and strange, and the whole meeting was awkward. And I just kept looking at him like, what the hell did I ever see in you? So it happens because your twin's energy, when their energy is out of balance and they're not being their true self, which he wasn't.
Protection.
Yes.
I was protecting me by being a goofball, and she was going, how did I ever date this goofball?
And he was protecting himself because he was really struggling with the fact that I was leaving and he might never see me again.
Yeah, that was for whatever reason that we would now understand better. I was devastated, scared, just destroyed on the inside in a panicky way. So I was completely not myself.
No. And of course, I hadn't seen him for years, so I'm meeting this guy that I hadn't seen for a long time going, well, how did we ever have a connection? So when you look at your twin and don't feel that, it's either because you're both just in different places right now, you're both maybe more in 3D, or it could just be because the energy has pulled apart for a while because it needs to for you each to do your growth without having so much of that push and pull, so much of that magnetic, God, I got to be with this person 24 hours a day kind of feeling. So honestly, when you have this experience, I say enjoy it, take it, and like take a breather and go, oh God, at least they're not like in my thoughts 24/7, and I can look at their picture without a ton of emotion. It's actually a nice reprieve, in my opinion.
You know, the word reprieve is, when you don't want a reprieve, you tend to get the reprieve. Then when you do need a reprieve, the person's always there and you never get that break. It's one of those balance things again, really. And in many cases, things insist on not being a balance of what you need right at that particular moment. So when you look at someone's photograph, or if you happen to have a chance to meet them, and there's just no connection whatsoever, because there has been a connection, or else you wouldn't know the difference, know that connections don't die. Sometimes, just like a power line that doesn't need to send power to a house because everyone's gone on vacation and just needs enough just to keep a little bit of light on, or a couple of electronic appliances going, something that's flowing so low on energy that you don't even recognize it. It doesn't mean that the connection is gone. It just means the connection is quiet.
I like that analogy.
Yes.
Robin and his analogies. Yeah.
So don't worry about a connection completely disappearing. If it's quiet, it just means all the energy and the growth is happening in a different direction.
Yeah.
And as long as energy and growth is happening, the next phases of life are what benefit from it. So, and when things tend to ebb and flow, what is today's quiet will be tomorrow's understanding of why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally. Question. I've been on the TF journey for about 10 years now, since my early 20s. However, I've only been aware that I'm on the TF path since 2019. I'm making solid progress and I'm quite proud of myself for it. However, whenever I feel inspired / need time, feel inspired / the need to text him, I still get the intense, shaky, nervous feeling. God, I so relate to this. Although usually only for the first text. How did you manage this, and what techniques did you find helpful? And Rob, I'm curious to know if you ever felt this as the DM.
Yes, I did.
Really? Oh, I want to hear this.
There's always the fear of doing something wrong, especially if something's gone wrong in the past, where you text or say or phone call or whatever, something that causes the other person to say, yeah, it's just a trigger for me to run now. I think I'm going to do that. That's what they say energetically on the inside. On the outside, they're just like, no, I can't be in touch right now. You're, it's I think just very natural to be afraid of doing something not quite to your intended benefit. In other words, creating a running response from someone else or just putting your foot in your mouth. There's always that bit of nervousness. No different than when a performer goes up on stage and they know their material inside out, yet they still get stage fright for those first few seconds right before and right after they go on stage. They have that fear of something going wrong or them doing something wrong. It's stage fright. It really is. And as soon as something goes right, it dissipates in a hurry.
Yes. Now, I'm curious, do you have an example of like texting or trying to communicate with me and feeling that nervousness?
Yeah, completely.
I want to hear it.
How about when you first said twin flame and I just had this feeling, some knowledge, some understanding that made sense to me, and I texted it back going, I could be so wrong that I'm going to completely disappoint her.
Oh, like that dot dot dot, I still love you, dot dot dot. That part?
No, I'm just talking
No?
about the definitions of twin flame.
Oh, but when you responded to the twin flame thing, that was also
No.
the I still love you part.
The I still love you part was...
That wasn't scary?
No.
Really?
That was an admission of truth.
Wow.
That was me being in my truth.
Wow.
That was me just letting you know that you've been brave enough to bring up the topic of twin flame and that I still completely respect us so much that there's a connection there that that's not going to just be blown apart because you've been brave. I'm happy enough to hear this to let you know that I can be a little brave too and tell you my truth. You've said your truth, I said my truth. Then it continued on from there.
Huh. So it was the twin flame part, not the I love you part.
No.
That was the scary part.
It was you hadn't told me what twin flames were, and I came back with guessing what a twin flame relationship or twin flame experience could be.
Yes.
Me guessing, going, well, I'm either going to be completely right or completely wrong. Breathe deep a couple of times, swallow hard, and hit send. It's scary.
Okay, so now they ask, what technique did you find helpful? So you just said you breathe deep and just do it.
Just dive in, and if I'm completely wrong, it's going to be school time.
This is interesting. I like this. So for me, I would try to meditate and do exactly what we shared in the last question, or the question before the last question, was I would try to get centered before I sent something. I would type out I would feel it, like this urge within me, like I've got to communicate this. So I would type it out, and then I would just let it sit there, and I'd go meditate and get centered and get calm, and then I'd come back and read it, and sometimes I would adjust it, or sometimes I wouldn't, and sometimes I would feel confident to send it, and I'd just hit send and go, okay, now I can let go. Other times I would not send it, and other times I would send it and then go, oh my God, and be terrified of what was going to come back or what wasn't going to come back. Sometimes it was the fear of, okay, now he's gone forever. He will never respond to me again after I've shared this. So there's not really one technique, but again, for me, it was meditation. Just being able to get centered, get my inner guidance. I would often ask, should I send this? Should I say this? And follow that guidance that I got from within before I did anything. But yeah, it's scary. I totally get it.
Trust and expectations. Trust that you're doing the right thing, but keep your expectations low on what the actual reaction is going to be. Because even if you're hoping for a positive reaction and you get a positive reaction, chances are you're not going to get the same positive reaction that you're expecting. the expectations create a lot of nervousness.
Oh.
You just need to stay in your truth, be brave, and do what you feel is right, and then let the response, and you could say let the reaction, you could interchange those equally, let the response slash reaction happen. And then, yeah, sometimes a little running might happen. Other times, a conversation might happen. If you, this is really hard to say because when things go wrong, when you've trusted yourself, then you have less trust in yourself. But if you don't ever have trust in yourself, then you also don't give things a chance to go right either. So trust. When in doubt, trust. Go with the feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Heart over head. Definitely. We have one more question on this page, so I would like to answer this if you're okay with that.
Okay, let's try it.
It's a bit of a longer read.
I've got rafting legs. Like as we mentioned earlier, we were at rafting yesterday. Of course, I was crunched in one sort of position for about 3.5 hours in a raft. And I'm sitting here trying to be in that same position, and my legs are just not cooperating. They're going to sleep. They're trying to ache. Like I could go out for one of my runs right now, and my legs would probably love it because it's something different. I'm just trying to do more of the same of what I did yesterday, and
your legs are not happy, especially when you have a dog curled up in one of them.
well, yeah. So I can't even move one leg because it's got a dog curled up in it.
See Cookie, she's just like ecstatic to be. Rob pulled out a blanket. And Cookie's like, woohoo, snuggle time. So she's like curled right into him and right into the blanket.
And now I got a leg that can't move. It's a good thing it's the leg that I just moved a little while ago to make it comfortable. I'm kind of sprawled out all over the place here. You probably have seen me squirm a little bit.
When you keep moving further over there. One more question. We're almost
Absolutely.
there. We're almost there.
I'm plenty comfortable right now for one more question.
Okay. Last night I had a dream about my twin flame reaching out to me, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, which tells me telepathically that if it was in 3D, it would be even better. The very last thing in my dream was getting a message from my twin flame, that's a runner, apologizing, and then I woke up. Can this be a sign? Please, you guys. I couldn't...
Yes.
I couldn't have imagined dreaming about it, but I could have, and it was just too much of a coincidence. I feel like we're going to come into union soon, but I just don't know when. My mind is telling me that we shouldn't be together, but my heart says we should. I've been seeing a lot of 2-2-2-2-2-2-2s and 11-11s, and I had that dream last night for the first time. Can you tell me what that means, please? Well, he seems to appear with his karmic online still. Then this person shared an update. I'm currently moving back to where he lives and where I used to live as we speak, about to board the plane. That's pretty cool. It was not planned at all. We might run into each other, and I didn't go back for him either. I think we might go into union soon.
Twice mentioning about going back into union. This just might be my own trigger. Just because Angie and I do the videos doesn't mean we sometimes have someone say something that doesn't trigger us. But I just mentioned expectations. Boy, there's a lot of expectation right there.
Yeah.
Something seems to be going right. We're headed right straight to union. How about something seems to be going right? We're headed right straight towards more open communication. Boy, I'd be done. I wouldn't have an answer left.
This is not part of the question, but because you went there, I'm going to go there too. The more you expect that union is like right around the corner, the more it's usually not. And I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, but yeah, when you think it's union time, it's usually because it's the ego hoping and wishing and wanting, and you seeing all the signs, sure, but the signs don't always mean union is now. again, if you know our story, we were getting all sorts of signs way back in 1997 and 1998. We didn't come into union until 2015.
14-ish, 15.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that was just our 1 hour reminder. I thought our computer just went, ugh! That scared me.
It did. It did it in a very unusual way.
It did so. I was like, just done.
Yeah. Usually our screen just goes to like dark gray. Then we go, oh, 1 hour. How about that? This time it went turquoise blue. I was thinking blue screen of death. Yeah, it just went all over the place. That was unusual.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't like all the nice, warm, fuzzy heat from the fireplace.
Maybe not. So, yeah, just a little side note of word of caution. Just be careful with the expectations, because as soon as you expect that union's coming and we're coming into union, it doesn't always mean that's the case. Union doesn't always look so flowery. At least it didn't for us and other people we've heard from. It's quite a bumpy road. It's not like, ooh, we got all the signs and it's just flowing and it's like it's going to be all bliss. Usually union comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles, because, again, you're being cleansed and purified into how much do you really want this? Are you ready for this? Can you face the challenges? Because this journey isn't about bliss. It's about working through and experiencing and growing. So union's not usually just all flowery. Now, for the actual question,
I'm going to go right back to the beginning of the question where it says, last night I had a dream. I like dreams. Dreams are some of the...
Tell us how you feel. I like dreams.
I like dreams. They're some of the best 5D based communications that we can get.
Okay.
You know, if someone has, and not picking on billboards here, but someone sees a sign on a billboard that gives them a hint that they might be headed closer to being in communication with their twin or union, I'll even go there, versus they had a dream. I trust the dreams more. I really do. But just because, now I'm going to interject a lot in here, just because someone else is putting energy out there that has now transcribed itself into a dream doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready in 3D. It just means possibly that their fifth dimensional self is more ready to be in communication. But boy, I would rather have people be more communicative in 5D and then get together in 3D than to be trying to get together in 3D hoping the 5D comes along.
Yeah, because it doesn't work that way.
So I like dreams. I like it when people say that they've had a dream that things are improving. I believe that more. It's just my intuition. It's also been a bit of my experience through talking with others. So yeah, this is a far better start than many of the other starts that we hear about.
And I know from very personal experiences, my dreams were off the charts, like wild out there. And they weren't even dreams. They were more, not even really astral travel, but I guess more astral travel.
They were somewhat that way, yeah.
Where, yeah, your body's asleep and your soul is busy. And before we came into union, I was having crazy amounts of dreams, crazy amounts of experiences with us, things happening in 5D while I was sleeping. So yes, that definitely can be a sign of union. But again, I don't want to get everybody all excited that, oh, I've had a dream, that means union's coming. I try to manage people's expectations because I want you to manage your own expectations too. It doesn't always mean that union's right now. You can have many dreams and union can still be a ways away. It's just, it's it's your own soul and the universe sort of saying it's coming. Yes, you're on the right path. Keep going, right? It's those little mile markers telling us you're on the right path. So just be careful. Don't get too wrapped up and excited that this is it, because it just not always is.
For most people that have come into union, if they would have wrote down every little sign along the way, they would have a half a book full of a dream here, a billboard there that's got the right numbers on it. Something else happens, a bit of this. Oh yes, and maybe some even real communication. There's so many steps along the way that I like to take each step as its own individual step, not that having a dream is the whole journey.
Right.
So a dream might be a darn good, nice, tall, very beneficial step. But no, it's that there's so many steps along the way that really do work to a final answer. You seldom all of a sudden just have one spot of communication that creates an entire union. There's lots of things that happen. Even with us, boy, the journal writings, the amount of texts back and forth that it took to solidify trust in our new relationship and our new communications, hours and hours and hours and days and days and days.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was just really, really huge. Now, there was some very, very important communication moments, but one dream, one text, one phone call, one trip back to the same city. Remember, many steps, not just one.
And also, when you're in the place of true union is when you're not expecting it, because you're already balanced, you're already whole, you're already happy with yourself. So you're not needing union. You're not like desperately wanting it, going, oh my God, this is like going to be the greatest thing. You're like, okay, cool. If it happens, wonderful. But I'm already happy in my life as is. So you're not like, oh my God, this is it. We're getting into union, because you're in a very different place energetically with yourself. So the more you're thinking we're coming into union might mean that you're not quite ready for union. You're seeing the signs of it, yes, because that's validation from your soul, from spirit, from your guidance team that it is coming, but it's also showing you where you're at, in that if you're still so eager and wanting it and desperately like trying to make it happen, that maybe it's not quite time yet.
This question is definitely a work in progress. I seldom do this. From this person, I'd like to hear another update. As much as there was
Yes.
an update on the bottom,
Yeah.
I'd like to know the next update. Be it a stumbling point or a greater success or a bit of both. Sure. I'd like to hear another update on this, because an update is automatically going to throw out another set of questions. It just will. So this is one question that is likely to build into many. And if it comes back from the same person, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be quite neat. All right, so I think we've kept you over the hour because our computer did tell us that.
Boy, did it ever.
So we're going to go, but before we go, since you didn't actually get to see Cookie, we're going to show you a picture of her all snuggled in here, because she looks very cute. Now, this is as close. Come on, be cooperative. You're not going to be cooperative. We'll find technology some days, you know. There's Cookie, all snuggled in Rob's lap. And it's a terrible picture because it doesn't really show it, but she looks very cute. So we say goodbye from us and from
Cookie. Cookie, the snuggled in dog that's going to be very disappointed when shortly after we end the video, I have to move my other leg again. It's time.
She's not going to be impressed. All right, we love you guys. Thanks for your questions, and We'll be back another time with some more. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.